Hi, and welcome to this podcast. Today we have Andrich in studio. Hey, Andrich, how are you?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, Andrich has been working in our lead generation department and is actually the head of the lead generation department. You've been, doing marketing for local businesses for more than 5 years now. I think at one stage you were also recording videos and helping me with, videography for some of my local business clients back then when I was still running a solo operation. But I think today we just want to discuss an important topic coming up to holiday seasons. A lot of people, and especially our clients and some of, our students in one of our programs that we coach for, they're asking, how to approach the holiday seasons, how much to spend on marketing during this holiday season. Should I, stop marketing? Should I reduce my ad spend? Should I spend more? And I think today I just want to unpack that with you in studio and hopefully give you the clarity and all the information you need to make the right decision for your business when it comes to the holiday seasons and your marketing. So we actually also own a local business, and in our local business, I can just reflect on what we're doing, when it comes to the holiday seasons now. We're approaching it. So basically, a lot of businesses actually close down during, the holiday period. A lot of businesses keep on operating. And I think the first thing, or the first layer of unpacking, whether you should spend less or more, whatever the case may be, is going to be like, what does your schedule look like for your business during this time? Like, are you open? Are you closing down for the holiday period? Can you still take orders, or will you still have somebody to nurture leads and work leads during this period while things are closed? And that's ultimately going to determine should you continue spending or not. One thing also worth noting is a lot of people are still going to, be on social media or be on social media a lot more during this period because they finally have time off, time maybe to reflect, time to, browse socials a bit more, browse Google, look for stuff that they don't, normally have the time, to look for. A lot of people are buying gifts for people. And, these are all things to consider based on your industry, whether you should spend or not. And I mean, man, I don't know if you have any thoughts, but, I'm literally just listing considerations for everybody to
Yeah.
keep in account.
Yeah, it's there's so many considerations to keep in mind during this period because I think the human nature does not want to let a month go to waste, and
Yeah.
you want to get like pump the most out of this half month and half holiday month that you can. But yeah, like you mentioned, you'll know from previous data from previous Decembers whether your product does perform over this time or not, what you usually invested in, how you want to go about it. But there might be some nuances to this that you haven't thought about. So I think specifically, of course, if you are running campaigns for a company that provides services that people can still come in and still want to come and do, this is also usually the period that people are on holiday and they want to like do some admin. Maybe people prefer to do their nails between the Christmas and the New Year's period, as an example, because they don't have time when work starts again in January. Maybe there's some admin in terms of things that need to be done, like maybe buy school bags for your kids during this time. That's something that could still be kept in mind. But generally, like, analyze your business as well. Do you have a sales team that can follow up with leads? Do you have some sort of can you capture someone's details? Or when someone becomes a lead, do they claim for an offer? Do they have to book this week? Or can you tell them, listen, you can fill in this form, you can accept this offer now, and you can only come in January, and that discount or offer that they would claim would be valid in January, but you would still be able to at least build in your ecosystem during that time.
That's another consideration. It's just, you need to look out for next year. If you stop the 19th of the 20th or whatever the case may be, you need to still look out for next year, filling your pipeline for next year. So I'm just going to mention some stuff out of my own experience, and then, we can just build on top of that. But for instance, for V8 Media, our agency, we are still going to go full steam during this holiday or during December from an ad spend perspective. We're still going to book calls. We have two salespeople, they're still going to take calls. They're still going to chat to clients, all of that. And this is all an effort to line up deals for next year already. So we are already thinking about next year because, technically we stop onboarding clients, I think somewhere, end of this week for 2025.
2026?
2025.
For this year, yeah.
Yeah, for this year, we stop onboarding clients very soon. So that's one thing. But we are fully focused on next year. We still have skeleton staff, in essence, to take calls this year and kind of like book it out and line them up for next year in the meantime. And then for our cleaning business, we are closing down, I think, the 19th for the year and only opening up on the 5th again next year. So in that business, we are, slowly already started reducing our Google ad spend. I don't think we're going to go below 60-70% of our normal spend on Google. And then Meta, we're reducing all the way down to 30% from the 20th or from the 19th. We're reducing that since, everybody wants their house cleaned before Christmas. So we are super busy right now, which will give us a bit more runway in December. And then we want to save on ad spend so that the company is still profitable throughout December. So it's also looking just at your company profitability. Like, can you actually afford to close down for a week or two and still, remain cash flow positive in your business? And, for us, in the the cleaning business especially is like a lot of, our staff is going home, and, it's just a logistical nightmare getting them on time and at work. And it's also good for the staff to rest as well. And that's also why we are just closing down for this period. We're reducing ad spend just to make a little bit of profit to get through the month. Luckily, it's a very busy month for us as well. So we should be able to still make the same level of profit to an extent that we do on a normal month by the reduced expenses, and everybody gets a bit of time off. So again, we found the balance there. It's only our second year, dealing with this situation in the cleaning business specifically. So that is essentially our approach. The other thing you also need to consider is you can't completely decrease your budget, in my opinion, for a lot of businesses, because that is just going to slow things down completely from next year onward. Again, you want to stay top of mind. You still want to build a pipeline for yourself during this time. If you can maybe potentially have somebody in office that could just contact leads and line things up for next year.
Yeah, even if it's just answering WhatsApps.
That's already a win. And I mean, you can pay somebody very little to actually do that for you, and just keep the pipeline full and keep the leads warm so that when next year starts, you hit the ground running.
I mean, if you even want to get technical in this, you have your data sets and have your algorithm that keeps on finding new clients and focuses on clients that still need to convert and getting new people into it. So if you basically just stop all ad spend for a 2-week period or a 3-week period when you close down, that would mean that when you start your ads again, there's no fresh or new data to work with. Everyone that connected with your campaigns in the beginning of December maybe now are used in your new campaigns maybe, but you are not top of mind for them anymore. Now you kind of like need to warm up your audience again if that's the case. And I mean, if you are someone that you can't sell any products in December, like it just doesn't work, people don't see this as valuable in the December or even the early Jan period, then there's still an element of choosing to invest maybe a 30, 40, even 50% of your normal ad spend budget into your warm audience, your audience that you like, just general retargeting audiences where you basically push out more personality, brand-based content.
Focus on building brand.
And even, I mean, the decision if someone's going to become a paid customer of your business or not is usually based on a specific, like, let's say it takes them 2 weeks of seeing content and then they come and they convert. Whereas now you put out all of the content. It doesn't even have to be call to action, doesn't have to be lead gen campaigns necessarily if you can't handle that leads, but you will be able to put out all of the content. At the time when you start running campaigns again, you have an audience of people that maybe watch your videos more than 50% or 90%, and the people that watch those are people that actually were interested in your campaign in the last 2 weeks, and you hit them with a good 2026 offer, as in you won't believe what this product or this service would do for your stress levels going into the new year, and having a good offer in place for that.
Yeah, one thing to also consider is like you can't just decrease your Google ad spend, for instance, if you predominantly focus on Google, because it's going to take a long time to ramp back up. So you only have a certain margin to play when it comes to Google ads. That's why we're only reducing Google ads by 30 to 40%, because the minute we go below that, it's going to take us weeks to build back to, where we were last year. So we're gradually making that rollback. And then, once we start up again, we're going to gradually in a week or two build back to where we were from an ad spend perspective. So that's also important to consider if you're running Google ads. It's like you can't just switch it off. It's going to take too long to, get traction again, or at least where you were in the previous year. So that's also the strategic decision there. So focusing on branding ads, during December, because there's nobody going to be there to, actually answer leads and work deals, especially for the cleaning business that we have. So we're just going to, double down on branding on a Facebook perspective, still, run the Google ads, and we will most likely have an autoresponder, or, the owner will still do some form of action with those leads, and just let them know. But ultimately, that's our strategy at least.
Yeah, definitely. What's your opinion if you would use this period? Let's say you're a local business, you only have a small radius of people that you can contact because people don't maybe travel far for your service, and you're not necessarily going to be open during that period. Your audience in that area is used to seeing you run constant offers of this service, then that service that month, and you're running this 25%, and your audience is constantly being battered with offers, and they might get to a point where they feel overwhelmed by the offers, or just know that offers are always going to be there in your business. So it would be interesting to see what effect it would have to use this period to actually be like, hey, for once, we are not running an offer or some sort of a discount to you, but we wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Maybe something from the founder and saying like, we wanted to show you some of our success stories throughout the year. Maybe run 2 or 3 or 4 videos of success stories that you had from clients that came in, maybe the process they went through with your service or the outcome they got from your product, and use that as a way of generating a newfound audience of people that are like, oh, I've seen these campaigns, but I didn't know like that's what the outcome of the campaign is.
I mean, you can retarget people that's been clicking on your ads, visiting your website, all of that with with that kind of, actual creative. And then when next year comes, you can just retarget them again with a New Year's offer, something like that, because that's going to build your nice audience throughout the festive season, which you can then hit with a New Year's offer or whatever the case may be. So yeah, that's definitely something to consider. And also, depending on the business again, but if you're a local business that needs bookings early in next year, I would either focus on already maybe gearing up to do a January offer by like end of December, so that you can already start taking bookings from like that last week in December, so that
like a 2025 price freeze.
Yeah, that's always a good one.
Yeah.
So yeah, already starting to book yourself up for the beginning of the new year. Yeah, one thing that's also worth mentioning is like, while you have this downtime in your business and a bit more free time on your hands, it's like also utilizing this time to create some content and to create some assets that you can utilize in your marketing going forward, going through your books, and actually also strategically figuring out how you're going to further grow this business. It's a great time to also reflect on where you are with the business, how far you've come in the past year, analyze your marketing efforts, and just figure out a strategy for the next year. And there's been a lot of meta updates, and I'm sure there's a lot of companies and a lot of businesses that just needs to take a proper step back, look at everything that's happened, look at the current strategy they're running, and look at the profitability of the business and what impact their marketing is having on the business, and just see how they can optimize things for the next year. Because I think a slowdown period is, although you might make a little bit less money or a little bit less profit or whatever the case may be due to doing closed, I do believe that there is still a lot of reflection that you can do in that period to gear yourself up for the next year.
Yeah, I mean, the ROI of you spending time during this slowdown period to make sure that you actually enter the new year with a bang, and actually maybe start thinking out of the box, maybe analyze, where did my ad campaigns, my systems become monotonous over the year, and how can I actually provide more creative resources or value to my audience that I have already, so that it's not more of the same during the next year. And also, I guess, I don't think a lot of people actually proactively plan their campaigns, but if you are someone that usually runs Valentine's campaigns, your content needs to be ready by the 1st of Jan. And I know that most people are like, on the 10th of Jan, they're like, oh, Valentine's Day is coming up, then you start only planning on it, you get a shot in 5 days from then, when you see you only have a week or two to run your Valentine's Day campaign.
Start planning the first 2 months already for the following year.
Early bird gets the worm.
Yeah. Cool, guys. Thanks so much for watching this episode. Hopefully that's given you some insight on, what to do with your business this festive season, and how to approach your marketing, your ad spend, and how to still maximize this period, even though it might be slower, might be faster for you, all depends. But thanks for watching. Subscribe for more, like this video, and I'll see you on the next one.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Crisis.
Merry Crisis. Cheers.
Bye.